What do you see when you look out there? Lots of opportunity. That's what I see. But what are we doing right now? Well, what we're doing is nothing that has to do with that. What we're doing has to do with that. What do we have here? We have a Sun Revolutions for the Planet beach cruiser, made by Sun Cycles. It's your basic to the bone beach cruiser. Single speed, coaster brake, no fenders, big cushy seat, and some stupid ape hanger handlebars. Those will eventually come off of there. But what we're doing is, I just picked this bike up from my buddy Robert. He had it there at the store. Front tire's flat, chain guard's been all to pieces, chain's really loose. The bike's really just dirty, filthy, hasn't been treated nice. It's got a lot of scars and dings on it. But I've got plans for this thing. Just like the bike that I built way back when. Might have been my second or third video, I think, maybe. Willie the Beach Peddler. We're going to clean this thing up. We're going to make this thing work right here at the campground. We are at the campground, and we're going to do all of this work right here and get this thing working, functioning like it should. And we're going to take it and go fishing right here at the campground. Is that crazy? I mean, I'm vacationing. This is nonsense. You don't do this. You do that. You go fishing. We're going to. But we're going to get this thing right first. It just sounds like fun. Makes me feel all jittery inside. You know, like standing on a tall ledge looking over. Actually, I feel different than that, because I've been squatted down here so long now that my right leg's fell asleep and it's tingling. So I'm really close to just falling over right now. So instead of that happening, which would be funny on camera, let's go get our tools and get everything and start getting this thing put together. Yeah. Yep, there it is. It's asleep. It's tingling. It's gone. It's out of here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a closer look at this bike so you can see the transformation as it happens. Now, as you can see, it's kind of scarred, kind of beat up. It hasn't been treated the nicest in the world. It's chain guard's all bent up, but all in all, I mean, it's not bad. You can see the handlebars have seen better days, but yeah, that's something that I can fix. Either I can replace them or whatever. We're not keeping these sorry handle grips on here. They're going to get gone fast. But we got some parts, or some spare parts we're going to put on there. We got a rack for the back. I just got to get some screws to fit down there for that. But we got a rack for it. Another inner tube. We're going to change that front tire because it's blown out. It is completely shot. Won't take air at all. Anyway, we'll get this thing together and get it riding. Maybe not all in one day, but it's going to get done regardless. I don't have my bike stand with me, which really hurts when you're trying to do this kind of stuff, but the tall handlebars are making it a little easier for me to get that front wheel off, which hopefully I have the right size wrench in here to get that off. I think they're 15s. Either 15s or 14s. 15, look, that's not even tight. So that was either getting ready to fall off or somebody's already taken it off a couple times. I think they've taken it off because, for one thing, the wheel was on backwards. And I mean backwards by this tire. Take a look at that. The arrows are pointing, okay? That is the direction that you want the wheel to travel. The tread always points in the direction you're traveling, because if you go through water, the water hits the center and then pushes out away from the tire. You put it on this way and you drive line it this way, you hit the water, it can bring the water in, or it just traps it in the center, and you just end up with you know, a racing slick, basically. Now, y'all have seen me do this before if you've watched any of my other videos on the bicycle stuff. I think I did it in one video. I think that was when I was doing the Want to Go Fishing Express. I don't have all my bicycle tools, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of this old school. Crossing your fingers and hoping you have the stuff to do it with. Always be careful with the screwdriver, because you can damage the inner tube with a screwdriver. However, the inner tube is already damaged on this one, so it doesn't matter. Once you get that tire to come off that rim, you can just pop her right out of there. Oh, she's popped right at the valve stem. Yep. You always want to put a little air in the old inner tube. A little air in the inner tube so you can get it inside the rim. You really shouldn't ever say pop when you're dealing with inner tubes. You just shouldn't. Get your tire seated again. Now let's put some air in this big boy. She's airing right up. Let's take a look at the wheels. Make sure they're seating like they should. Nothing worse than a tire that goes voopity 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 as we're going down the road. And yes, I know what you're thinking, but yes, voopity is how it sounds. Anybody who's ever done it and put it on crooked will tell you. He's right, voopity. Voopity is the sound it makes. Voopity is the sound of incomplete. For now, that's all we're going to put in there and let that inner tube stretch a little bit. Yeah, somebody's definitely had this off before because the washers are missing. And where'd I put my wrench? Up here. Tighten this down. Okay, the chain guard is just absolute junk on here. What I'm going to do is figure out how they put that chain guard on the crank. How did they put that on there? How did they put it? Am I going to have to leave that pile of junk on there? Oh, it's so hard to look at that water right there and not just want to... You know what I'm getting at, people. You're fishermen. Fisher ladies. Oh, there's another one. Forgot. Just remember, whenever you drop a screw or another bolt, it's always going to roll the furthest away. Or if you're working on a car, it always falls right dead center of the car. And you got to crawl up under the car to get it. Okay, there's crooked, screwed up chain guard that doesn't go over the pedal. Somebody's put aftermarket pedals on here, so now I got to take the pedals off, which I got to do anyway. But in order to get this one off, unfortunately I got to take the pedal off I didn't want to take off. Story of my life. So we're taking this entire crank off because I'm actually going to change the sprocket. I'm not sure how many teeth this one has, but we're going to be changing it to the sprocket that originally came off of Willie the Fish Peddler bike. Because that bike no longer resides at my home. Anybody who's watched any of the Mr. T series that I did over at Pears, which way does that go? On the Toyota truck. Well, Daryl, the guy that I got the truck from, was wanting a bicycle, and that's part of the reason, part of the thing that I did to get the truck. Mr. T. It looks like that cup has got to come loose. Well, you know, one thing I don't have is a hammer. I'm doing something you're never supposed to do. Put pliers on the nut. You just don't do that. It eats it up. But this thing is, it's turning. The whole thing is turning for some reason. Why? Why? Okay, let's try something else here. Flathead, scalpel, shoestring, grape jelly. This is what happens when you kind of have the tools that you need, but not really. There we go. Vice grips. One of the greatest tools in the world. Wow, that's hideous. It's nothing but dirt and gravel and just junk all inside of here. I'm covered in dirt. I got grease on my shirt. If we're lucky, the big old black snake will come out over here that I had to get rid of because he was trying to eat a rabbit. And I know it's nature, it's what they do, but you know, it was a little baby bunny. Innocence at its best. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. That's hideous is what that is. So I'm going to try to wipe it down as best I can because I don't really have anything to spray it with to clean it. Usually, I let them sit in gasoline and it breaks all of this stuff apart. But today, it's going to get a major wipe down, which seems to be doing all right actually. And there's going to be some new grease put in there. We're putting a new sprocket on. That's right, the sprocket that came off the original Willie the Fish Peddler project bike, now owned by my buddy Daryl. Oh, we also have the back rack that was on that bike, which Daryl didn't want the rack on there. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's his bike and he can do with it as he sees fit. Nice and clean now. Hear him jiggling? That's what you want. You want that. Fun part for me doing these things is the cleanup, you know. Taking it from messed up and ugly to just awesome. Clean, fun. These bikes deserve to be treated, you know, nice and to have a purpose in life, just like I do the old fishing reels, the fishing poles and stuff, the old fishing equipment. It deserves to be doing what it was designed to do, not sit in the garage rotting away, or sitting in a field, or I'm not sure what that is inside of there, but you can see for yourself. That's pretty darn hideous. And we got some Valvoline. It's GM Chrysler European Japanese vehicle grease for axles and things like that. It's good stuff. You know, if it can handle being in the wheel bearing of a hub of a vehicle, it should be, a bicycle should be able to be okay. Anyway, there you go. Hear that? Hear that? That's what you want to hear. You want to hear those balls bouncing around there. That bearing has got to be free so it travels correctly and does what it needs to do now. Actually, let's clean the cups out because I'm gonna, ew, not good stuff. Very bad. Now let's see if we can get this cup off, because really that's got to come off to get this goofy bracket. Oh, I can move it, so it ought to pop out of there pretty easy. Let's see, where is going to be the best spot to try to get that out of there. How stupid do you have to be to not remember to bring a hammer? If I only had, oh, I do have a little hammer. I got this little toy hammer. Bingo! That was exactly, not even, I mean, perfect what I wanted. Ooh, that's ugly. We need some paper towels again to wipe that junk off. This is going so fast. I am so frightened. Nothing for me ever works like this. Probably should have stuck with bicycles instead of messing with cars, because me and bicycles get along way too easily. Where'd my wire brush go? There it is. Take some of that little surface rust off there, because the new grease will keep it good and juiced up in there. And don't ever run the wire brush across your fingers. It's not fun, it sucks, and there's rocks underneath of my right kneecap that I'm pretty sure now are embedded until the day I die. Okay, got that cleaned out. As you can see, that's pretty hideous. But the biggest problem is that's got to come off in order to get this sprocket off here, which I do not like. I do not like solid sprockets. I like to have some look, some something, some flare, some wind, something, because it is just not pretty. This piece here, the other guide for the bearings, has got to be unscrewed and come off of there, and it's not going to be easy when you don't have the correct tool to do it with. Ow! Hit myself in the finger and it really sucked. Bad. Is it ridiculous that I can't tell which way? All right, we got it. Once you go past these threads, you now have to thread it onto here to get it to come off. Oh, no you don't. How wrong was I about that? Okay, see how that goes against there? And there's a washer that holds that on there. We're going to clean that up. So your washer goes there, that goes there, the sprocket comes off of here. The world as we know it is a great and wondrous place. We're going to clean up this crank. Now this is called a single piece crank. Now why they call it a single piece crank, I don't know, because there's actually two pieces to it. 4 if you include the pedals, but it's what they call it. So, or a 2-piece crank, maybe what they call it. So 3 pieces, 3. You know, it was a long time ago when I did this, so I could be completely wrong about that. But back in my BMX days, you had the 3-piece cranks, which were aluminum. They were all alloy, and man, we used to destroy those things. These were heavy, but you sure couldn't destroy them. So let's take a look at the new sprocket. Ba-da-ba. Okay, that's the new sprocket, which I gotta think now. And man, do I hate it when that happens. Okay. That's how I want that to be. Like so. Wait a minute, did I do that right? I have to think it through now. So these are both 42 tooth sprockets. It's just the one that I have looks better. Tighten that on there. So this, oh man, these dirty rocks under my knees just, they hate my guts. Or at least my knees. Something's hated. Deep down nasty hatred. Ah. Oh, the things we do for love, the things we do for love, like jamming rocks in your knees and your shins when you should be fishing fins and you feel like you should have left an hour ago. All right, grease. Let's grease up some stuff here. Put a little bit around here. That's right, I said here. I've been known to say it many times. This is one of those, after you ride it, you will just smack your father kind of for why you didn't buy you a bike like this when you were a kid. Put a little bit in the cup there. Now really it's good to press the grease into the bearings. But I don't have a way to do that, and I'm going to do it the old school way, try to get as much in there as we can, which is nothing more than just putting grease in the palm of your hand and squashing it in there. That's right, squashing. All right, there's that. Now we have to put this through here as such. And there you go. Now we got to go to the other side. We got to break on through to the other side here. All right, slip that up there like so. Slip that bearing into its house. Put some more on top of it. And run for paper towels. Chain on. Chain needs to be on the back too. Oh, crank falling out. And if anybody thinks they have a good campground slash, that's not helpful at all. Definitely need handlebar grips. We are lacking in that department because these are terrible. Oh, shins, knees, liver. Ow, gosh, that hurts. How about you come back up here like you're supposed to? Not dropping the bearing out onto the ground for the grease to pick up all the dirt and funk that I just cleaned out of there. That's right. There's a lot of funk in my life. Sometimes I'm down with it, sometimes I'm not. This thing is just doing its best to tick me off. I'm getting my butt kicked by a bicycle. It has no name. Come on. It's a fine thread, so you have to be very careful screwing this piece on. Just remember, when you get grease all over everything and you wipe it down, everything's so shiny. One of the more important things to remember here when putting the crank and everything back together again, this is your seat inside of here. It seats inside the bearing. This is the lock nut, and really that is what keeps everything from coming apart. So what you want to do is, what I always like to do, even though I don't have the correct tool for the job, is to take and tap this thing. You want the crank to be just a little play in it. Work some of that out. You can still hear a little bit of that gravel and grit that's inside the bearings that I couldn't get out, but this will help it quite a bit more than what it was. But that'll keep her from coming loose anyway, and keep her greased up inside. Just needs to be snug in there. Now we'll go with this other fancy guy here. Whoops, got to put a little bit of grease on the inside of that. Coaster brake's working. Rim is crooked, but coaster brake works. That's what needs to be. All right, we're good there. Front wheel's tight. We're in cleaning mode now, because mechanically we should have everything. But I want to clean it off before I try to put this new chain guard on here. Like I said, I'm not a big chain guard fan, but when I'm going to be riding around, you know, out here at the campground or whatever, you don't want your pants leg getting all tangled up in the chain, and you just look like a doofus when you tie that thing around your pants leg, and you know, to keep it from doing that. You just do. Anyway, let's get into cleaning mode. We'll put all these tools up later.
Hello everybody, this is Willie's editor and son, Evan. I'm here to say that sadly we lost the audio to pretty much everything beyond this point, and what I can only think to describe is a disagreement between our microphone and our GoPro 7 adapter. So I am here to fill in the gaps and explain what's happening. The next day, Willie went up to a bike shop and picked up the other parts he needed, the handlebars, grips for the handlebars, and a bag to go on the bike rack from the original Willie the Fish Peddler bike, which is our second ever video if you feel like checking it out. Beyond that, Willie just puts on the new parts, cleans the bike up a little bit, and takes it to go fishing. Last but not least, Willie actually did give this bike a name in the video, and sadly, since there is no sound, you don't get to hear what he named it, so he decided, since it's called the Revolution, to go with something from the Revolution. He decided to name the bike George. as in the first president and general. And finally, if you decided to stick around, you'll get to see some clips of Willie taking the bike for a test drive and trying it out, seeing how it rides, and going fishing with it. But anyway, we really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed editing it. If you did, please leave a like, and if you find yourself coming back, why not subscribe? You don't have to turn notifications on. If you want us to bother you, we'll bother you. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.